safe space. We ain't never give a reason you should hide. Compile all your questions, we're taking the quest. Join Tarsha on this journey to discover the rest. Go.
Welcome to the Adoption Journey Podcast. I am your host, Tarsha Smith, and thank you so much for joining us yet again for another week. I am too excited for this conversation. I want to introduce another fellow adoptee, Ambition. Hey, Ambition.
Hello.
Thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing your story. You know, that's what we do here. I want the stories. I want the tea. I want it all.
Okay, say less. I'm not going to hold back. I got to keep it real.
Yes. So my very first question I love to start with is, how old were you when you found out you were adopted?
Oh, so I was around, how old am I? 14?
Okay,
14,
so not...
but I met the family at 8. But I believe the full adoption took place all the way at 14. Don't hold me to that.
Oh,
You know,
okay,
all of our
so
stories be all over the place. But
right,
as I
because
remember,
you come
yeah,
out the
it
gate
was,
all over the
if I
place.
believe it was 8, then full adoption 14, if I'm not mistaken. But it might have been, I know it's between that 10 to 14 range, because I really came from Philadelphia, but
Okay,
I was in a foster home in Jersey.
that was my question. Were you in foster
And
care?
so if I'm not mistaken, I always be wishing I had my mom in these conversations. It took a little bit longer because it was like an interstate adoption. So
Okay,
when you're from one city, from one state, and you getting transferred to another, it takes a lot longer. If I'm not mistaken,
right.
but
Yes, you are absolutely correct. So you have memories of the foster home.
absolutely.
Talk about that.
So one of the things I talk about is there were so many foster homes. I don't remember how many it was. So from 2 into about 10, I'm in a bunch of different foster homes. So I'm all over the place. Now, of course, my memory really doesn't go past, I would say 5. 5
Right.
to 6 is where I remember the last foster home that I remember. It was a foster home in Nicetown. So people always ask, like, where you from? Like, yo, last foster home I remember, foster home, North Philly, section called Nicetown.
Okay.
The street I was lived on was Grant Street. The last elementary school I went to was something called Frederick Douglass. I remember like it was yesterday, right?
Yes.
So, but in between that time, going back and forth, when I met my foster mom that eventually adopted me, I
Okay.
still remember going back and forth. Even before the Nicetown home, and some of them were like for a few days. Some of them are for a few weeks, because I believe at that time they were still trying to find me placement, but nobody wanted me. And so sometimes when you're in that transition, as well as you could be in a house for a couple days, 2 weeks, a month, doesn't it, until they find a place for you. Then that was the role I was in at that time.
So you're bouncing around within the same city, I take it, but you're just
Correct.
bouncing around from home to home.
Correct.
And were you bouncing around from school to school as well?
Now, as I remember, Frederick Douglass was the only school that I was in.
Okay.
Now, my
So at least
mother,
that was stable.
right? My mother at the time is from West Oakland. Well, I'm sorry, Germantown.
Okay, hold on.
So
When you say mother, are you meaning foster mom?
my foster mom that's about to
Okay.
adopt me.
Okay.
She's living in Philly, but while she's getting me, she's transitioning to Jersey.
Ah,
So
okay.
that's how I ended up in her when I got into her house. But eventually, I'm in Jersey because she ended up leaving Philadelphia for Jersey. So that's kind of how I transitioned from a Philly home to
To a
Jersey
Jersey
raised,
home.
but by
Okay.
Philly people. Okay, it's a
Got
lot.
you. It's a lot. And I was actually up in your neck of the woods last year, so I understand the where Philly is, where Jersey is. So
Right.
I get it. I get it.
Hmm.
Were you do you have siblings? Or
Yes.
were you moving by yourself?
Oh, at this time by myself,
By
right?
yourself. Yeah.
At
I'm
this
still in the
time,
foster care, still in the foster system.
yep,
So
still in the
by
foster
yourself,
system.
moving by yourself.
Right. Just to give you a little
Oh,
glimpse of that until we get into those more questioning. I
yeah.
at this time have no idea that I have other siblings. I have
Okay.
a I have an idea that I know I have a sister,
Okay.
but it's like at that time I'm like, oh, I'm out here by myself.
Just by yourself, moving
Right.
from
The
foster.
system at that time, there's no siblings rights or nothing. Right? At
Okay.
this
They
time
just placing.
they cut you off. Like you have no idea your existence to your mother or siblings or cousins. There is nothing at that time.
So as I know you're a kid at this point,
Correct.
but do you remember how you were feeling, even as a kid? Or did
Absolutely.
you think this was normal?
Absolutely not. I remember I put it in one of my poems. I talk about how when you first walk into a house, the area of sleeping with strangers.
Mm.
I did this exercise. I was talking to an adult about this. I said, imagine you as an adult randomly just getting your bags, knocking on some random person's door, and saying, "Hey, can I spend the night?" And how would you feel as an adult?
Oh,
So imagine as an eight-year
as a
old kid,
kid.
right?
Right.
And you get there, and it may be sunny outside, but look, it's your first night. You don't know these people from nowhere. And it's just you, and you already know as a foster kid, you got that trash bag with you. You got this little bag, they dropped you off, and now the people are acting nice. They may be nice, you don't know. And
Mm-hmm.
you are in this eerily quiet house where you don't know anybody and you have to go to sleep. It's the most scariest thing. Even if the people are nice, they could be great people.
Yeah, but you don't
Um,
know these people.
but you don't
So
know
these are
them.
strangers, right?
Right. And I'm aware of that I'm in foster care. Like I'm not at this time, like I'm one of the kids that know what's happening. I'm not oblivious. Like my social worker is walking me through. I
Okay.
know that the visitations with my mom is not going well. I do remember that. I remember sitting at visitations, but she's not coming to them. So
Mm-hmm.
after the transition comes of determination of parental rights, then like you said, like at that point, my memory is just shot of what she looks like. So yeah, but the memories of going into the house and adjusting to someone that you don't know, a room that you never been in, sleeping in the
Right.
bed you never slept
That's
in
got to be
before,
so scary as a child.
scary.
But that's genius how you put it. I've never even considered it like that. Imagine as an adult, just walking to some random house, knocking on the door, and being like, "Can I spend the night?"
Yep.
That is
And then like you
quite a
just
way
chilling,
to. Yeah, that's it
right?
right there. Yeah.
And you're hearing noises like you don't know what's going on. And as a
Right.
kid,
Right.
that's how it felt. You don't know
Oof.
what these people are going to do. You don't know if the food is not going to kill you. You have no idea. And so you have to, live through that. And that's not just the first day. It takes you months.
Right.
It could take you a year or two to get used to somebody.
And then probably by the time you are quote unquote okay, it's time to move
It's time to
again.
roll out. And you still have to, and then mind you, right, you still have to try to go through, and this is where we talked about the foster care system, where it needed to get better. I remember at my time where
Mm-hmm.
now the social worker has to come to the house. Then you still have to go to therapy, and they want to talk about, are you okay? What is it
No,
like?
I'm not okay.
No, I'm not okay. I'm 8 years old. I'm 9 years old. I'm living in the middle of where am I? I don't even know where I'm at this time. Like when I'm that age, I'm telling you now that I lived in Nicetown, North Philadelphia, Grant Street. But at that time,
You
where
didn't
am I at?
know.
I have no idea.
And you're expected to go to school and perform well.
And perform well.
You gotta do that too.
Yeah. But you're
I'm,
living a grown man's life,
I'm
but
speechless
you're a
right
kid.
now. I'm
It's
I'm
hard.
I'm speechless because I love the way that you put it. I've never heard anybody describe it like that. That's gonna stick with me.
Yeah.
That's gonna stick with me
The
for
adult
sure.
example. Yeah. because I was thinking, like, when people ask me, how do I make them, like you said, I always, even in poetry, but like you said, just try to make them feel to
I
be there.
feel
Like,
it.
go ahead and do that exercise and say, oh,
Yeah,
and I give you a little bag with 2 shirts,
little trash bag.
2 drawers. Like, look, your stuff is not clean.
Right.
You don't, like, come on.
Ah,
And they want you to
mission
be a
accomplished.
productive person in society.
A
As a
productive
kid,
person.
not happening.
Right, right. Needs to go there. Don't act up in school. Why are you acting up in school? Well,
In my
because it's a
life,
lot going on at the house.
right?
That part.
Have you been to court? Have you sat at visitations? Have you know this person's not your mom? And then you still got to deal with the peer-to-peer interaction.
Right. Because kids are mean.
Kids are, yeah. And then back
That part.
then, it's like there wasn't no bullying.
Right. Everybody's snapping. It
Right.
is
There
what it
wasn't no
is.
bullying programs like that back then, right?
Right, right, right.
So,
Okay, so thank you for that because you just yeah. So how do you transition from moving and then we get to I guess you'll call her permanent foster
correct.
mom. Okay. So how do you so we get there. Is this somebody that you've been in and out of or is this or does she start out as like a stranger?
So at first, yeah. So from again, right? I'm just operating off the memory at the time. Um,
Okay.
when I get there, now I'm 8 years old. They're going through the process to eventually adopt me, right? And now we're in that process where I'm about to be adopted. Okay, so I know the family. The family loves me. I love them.
Okay.
At the time, they have to move to the process because you already know. If not, you go back into the system.
Right.
So they basically, I'm not going to say they bully foster parents, but everybody knows what I mean when they say you got this amount of time with the kid, and if you're not going to adopt, they need to go back into the system.
Oh no, everybody doesn't know that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, so I'm
Let
letting
them
you
know
know.
what it is.
Yeah, you know what it is. Oh, hey, yeah. Oh, you love them? Yeah, that's good. So are you planning on adopt? Because if not, then unfortunately we may have to replace or give another placement home for this kid. So that's it. That's the issue. So yes. So why and
Okay,
that
now hold on. I want to ask, and I don't know if you know the answer or if you have an opinion.
okay.
Why is that? What is that about? Why can't the child just go someplace and just be stable?
So there's a couple reasons why.
Okay, you got to come back
I
to.
would
Okay,
say
yeah, okay.
I'm not going to sugarcoat this. Number
No, no,
one,
don't.
the government, with all respect, and I understand, they are not going to. They don't want to keep taking care of you.
Okay,
So the government is saying, with all respect, we want you as a child off the books technically, because our job as a government, we don't. I'm not going to say they don't care about you, but we helped you enough where we are paying for therapy, a housing, all that still costs money. We're trying to find somebody to give you a nice, loving family. And if your family cannot comply to the rules and regulations that we gave them, which is a lot, especially when it comes to impoverished Black people, but that's neither here nor there.
no,
If you
that it's
can't
all
meet,
there. It's
it's
all
all there.
there.
If you can't meet these rules, Black lady, your kid shall be in the system. Oh, but foster parents, if you fall in love with the kid, we appreciate that. But you do have a time frame of when we want this person off the books. And if you can't, then we have to try to find somebody else because we are continuously trying to find you a placement, a real home, which really is another term for legality. Being adopted is more of a legal definition than what people think is just foster care because they're saying legally you are now my responsibility, right?
Right.
So that is one of the reasons why. The other thing is there are some people who are on the other side, which I can see somewhat. They don't want you just in the system just forever. Like, and that's what you call the aging out kids. And
Right.
I feel so that my heart breaks for aging out kids because
Hmm.
I'm not gonna lie to you. If I aged out the system, you're looking at a different man. I'm not free. I believe If I aged out the system, I am an incarcerated man or dead. Like it's not. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I will not lie to the public because you're saying my life is totally different. There's no adopted family. I bounce from house to house to house all the way until I'm 18.
Right.
Then I graduate, and then I'm 18, and the system basically says, "Good luck." And there's no family. Oh yeah, I'm easily in the streets, easily. So that's the other reason why I think they don't want you in the system until you age out, because everybody knows that the statistics. If you age out the system, the percentage of where you go is high. Incarcerated, I think it's like 2 to 1. Sex trafficking, homelessness,
Right.
your
Right.
entire life, percentage wise, of becoming those three things: sex traffic, homeless, and incarcerated, is almost like double or something like that. It's ridiculous. So you really don't want to be in the system aging out. It puts you into a really, really vulnerable situation. So yeah,
Okay. Oof.
no,
Okay.
that's a
You're
lot.
tugging on my heartstrings here.
Sorry.
No, but the people need to hear it. It's a
Mhm.
conversation that needs to be had, and it's a real conversation. And there's a lot of expectation on foster kids to go through the system, but I still need you to be productive.
Right.
Make it make sense. How? Make it make sense. Okay, so you get to your soon to be adoptive mother.
Okay.
Now, is there a mother and the father in the home, or is it just mom?
Well, mom and the dad in the home. The dad
Okay.
is a very hardworking man,
Okay.
nice, but he's not really there. I won't, we got to keep it a buck.
Right.
He's a hardworking man, and I can see him physically in the house. So
That's
I always
brand
tell
new to
people,
you, right?
yeah, I never seen that. I'm not even through the foster homes. Yes, yeah. Oh yeah, even the foster homes. Yep, the lady I was with before was single as well. Um,
Huh.
so I will say I was very happy to see him in the house. My mom is a hardworking woman. She's SEPTA. My dad is truck driving, and he's post office.
Oh, hard worker.
Hard working. He going hard.
He going hard.
They going
How
hard.
does
So
so at this point, how old are you when we get
now let's say
here?
I'm 12,
Okay, so
preteen,
middle school age,
middle
preteen age,
school
to
age.
start feeling yourself.
Yeah, I'm starting to feel myself. Hey, I don't even want, at this point, this is good. We're moving through the story. I ain't even trying to let people know from Philly. Oh no, I'm a Jersey
You're a
boy. I'm
Jersey boy
suburban.
now.
Yeah, I'm
You're
from the
suburban.
suburbs. Yeah, we getting money. Listen, don't
I
even
love that.
you don't even gotta talk about that. My clothes is better. I'm looking better. I'm smelling better. Like I'm good. Like,
And as
but I'm
a middle school kid, you even recognize that
Yeah.
things that other kids take for granted.
Correct. But remember, so
Yeah.
I can walk you through this. Remember, as a foster kid, and when you're from the city and you move into the suburb people at that time, and I can do
Hmm.
this now. It's so funny, like I'm talking in the reverse now, but they can tell you're from the city. So even though I think I'm looking better, I feel better, I'm clean. They can tell my jeans is still not the freshest, right? My sneakers, my accent, the way I
Uh,
talk and walk.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
still being bullied because they know I'm not from there. So I always tell, even at the I'm glad you had Yes We Adopt CEO on. Um, but when I was at the conference, we talked
Yeah.
about something called location identity.
Okay.
And me being from Philly but being raised in Jersey, they were bullying me for that, from being from Philly at the time.
Okay.
Um, and I was being bullied because they also know that my mom don't look like me, right? She's a lot older. So a
Okay.
lot of people don't know that foster parents, when they get younger children, when they go to school and you get dropped off, those kids are looking like, hey, like, you don't look like your mom. Now my mom is Indian. She's black, but she look Indian. At like, I don't look nothing like my mom.
Okay.
And they know it's an age difference. Kids are very smart. So they're picking up like, hey, you don't look like your mom. And you got a brother, because I have a brother
And
and I have two brothers at the time, right? That's in the house. You got a brother, but he don't look like you either.
now,
And
are
now
these
those
brothers
questions.
their biological children?
Correct.
Okay. Okay.
you got brothers, but they don't look like you. And your mom, she don't look like you. And all the questions are starting to come up about why you don't look
Why?
like why you don't look like them.
Right.
Why you dress like that?
Oh my
Where you
gosh.
come from again? You say you come from Philly, and like my story is not adding up. Like they know it, I know it, and I know at this time I'm living a lie because I'm basically telling kids that that's my mom. I'm not about to explain at this point in
Right.
my
To
life
every single, I hear you.
how hard is it to do that, right? Until eventually I had to.
Right. Now, let me ask you this. Do you think in hindsight, because I know right now you're dealing, you're middle school, you're not
Right, right.
thinking you're a kid, but would it have just been easier to just be like, look, this is what it is? Get
At the
ahead
time,
of it?
yeah. In the beginning, in the beginning, it's hard because I don't want the questions. I'm like, and I'm like, this is good that you ask these questions because I'm going home at this time telling my mom, they killing me out there. They saying
Smalls, they
I look,
killing me.
yeah, they killing me because my hygiene ain't like I'm clean, but like the hygiene, the way I'm
Yeah.
looking, it's just I got the Philly. And back then, like I always tell people this, like people, like when you was poor back then, you looked like it. It's different now. You could kind of like live in poverty, but like kind of still look fly. Like back then, like I'm talking 95, 96, 90. When you look like it, when you was in it, you was
You
in it.
was in it.
You couldn't hide it. Like, so imagine me going home. I'm like, yo, they killing me, mom. They talking about me. They saying I'm not from here. I'm from Philly, and I'm trying to like fit in. They know that I'm not in this area, mom. Like, I can't. I don't know what to do. They're talking about me so bad. They saying I
So
don't look
what
like.
so how did your parents tell you
My
to
mom is like, yo, you gonna have to tell the truth.
okay.
And
Okay.
I'm like, I, how would do that? So, um, what's funny is just quickly there was a girl that went to the church that I went to with
Okay.
my former foster parent,
Oh,
and
so somebody already knew the truth.
she lived in the same development. She tells everybody in the neighborhood he's a foster kid. I really believe at this time, looking back, her parent told her what I was. Because at that age, how would you know
Why
what
would
I
you know
am?
that?
Right.
Right. Right.
The whole neighborhood know, because at that time, we in suburbs, you all outside. They saying
Right.
you a
Yeah.
foster kid. I'm like, how? And I see the
Me.
girl that went to the church, Seventh-day Adventist from Philly. I'm like, how, Lord? So then I run in the house. I'm telling my mom, Mom, there's somebody from Philly that recognized me in Jersey. It's a mess. So eventually, yes, to
That's
make a long
hilarious.
story short, I had to come out and embrace it.
Right.
That's 8th grade going to 9th grade. Now I have no choice. Like, and I'm getting older. I'm tired of the bullying. I'm feeling myself, and I'm
Right.
embracing. Like, I'm a foster kid, and so what?
So
And
I want to go back to just a smidge. I want to ask, being in a two-parent home.
yes,
Yeah, he was a hard worker and he wasn't there. But how does that make you feel on the inside? How does that change? Like, oh, I got mom and dad.
it was amazing. Like I never had nothing like it. And the love that they displayed was amazing. My mom was a loving person. My dad didn't really talk much, but he was there. And he was nice to me. When you fresh out of foster kid, you kind of just want people to be like, hey, like you want them to be just nice. And I
Yeah.
try to explain this to adults too. Like, you don't understand. You want people to acknowledge your existence
Wow.
in a friendly way. Hello, hi, good morning. Like when my mom was doing that to me, I'm looking at her like, who is this lady? And I would
Just
always
little
say
small stuff that
small
we
stuff.
typically take for granted.
When I came to Jersey, I'm telling you, she was like, you can have seconds. You can eat. At the time,
Seconds.
she'll
What's
tell you
that?
seconds. She like, you can keep
You can,
going. Keep
right.
going. You mean to tell me I have free access? Because people don't understand, like in foster homes, you can't just go to the refrigerator and just eat out of the refrigerator. With all respect, there are some parents right now with their biological kids, they just don't let their kids go to the refrigerator.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was access to the food, to drink, just to be able to do that was so amazing. So I try to always tell people it's the small things that count. Having your own bed and with a lot of pillows.
With a
Um,
lot of pillows.
like stuff like that.
Little
Like,
stuff.
don't
You know
forget
what
it.
you're
I'm so
reminding
sorry.
me of?
Mm.
And I hate to compare it to this, but it almost sounds like, you know how when an adult is incarcerated and they come out, but that mentality, and they come into and they're like, oh, I don't have to have my snacks anymore. I don't
Yeah,
have to do this anymore. It's the same thing.
yeah.
It's a
You mean tell me I ain't
switch.
gotta really go to bed at a certain time or it's locked down?
Right.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
It's the same thing.
You're so happy to be in a state of love and just happiness. You just so happy. That's why I live my life kind of still that way with gratefulness, because like where I come from, people kind of forget. I don't forget that. Like, yo, I'm literally, and I was telling my girlfriend this too, and my nephew Matt. I said, I understand why people are unhappy with their lives, but I'm living literally, I feel like I'm living in the bonus years, because when
Mm.
you're at that living in those situations, you don't really think you're gonna make it to. I'm 38 now. You don't even think about that far. You thinking like, if I could just make it to this age, I'm cool. Or if I
Wow.
could just get out of this bad situation, I'm good. So when I was living like that, I was just so grateful and happy for all the blessings that I was given, and just so happy still to this day that my life turned out. And I
Yeah.
remember saying this is good too. That I ended there when I was so angry because my mom was in my life, my real biological mom.
Hold on, we're gonna get there. Hold on, hold
Okay.
on, hold on, hold on.
Yeah, because you gotta stop.
Hold
You
on.
gotta get on the
Hold
road.
on. Hold on. So you're in the home, two-parent home, two brothers, getting bullied, but for the most part, we're good.
We're good. They're killing me out there though, but
They're
it's good.
killing you in the streets, but we good.
Because I'm still coming home to a single home. Remember, at
Right.
this time, it's all row homes. I ain't never seen no single
Right.
home in grass.
Unlimited food. I can go to the fridge, like little stuff.
Right.
When you're not in, with my situation, I was in the foster care for 5 weeks.
Okay.
So I've been, I was adopted. So I don't have, of course, no recollection of nothing like that. So to
Okay.
hear
So
you
they adopt
speak
you very
about it,
young. Okay.
newborn,
Newborn. Okay.
and to hear you, and I love the way you speak about it, because you're making people feel what it is,
At
how it was.
eye level.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I've never heard anybody talk about foster care like this
Oh, thank you.
ever. So thank you for that.
Absolutely.
Um, so at what point does your birth mom, do you start having contact with her again?
So I don't meet my mom again to 26.
Oh, a long time.
When
So is
when
that something that, oh, I'm sorry.
it's okay.
Is that something that you wanted, or tell me how
No,
that
I
happened?
end up. So look, at this time, the one thing I will say the system got to do a better job is when you're a foster kid and you got foster parents, it's not even on my mind. I mean, like I know that, and let me take you back. This is where a struggle is with foster kids like me.
Okay.
I love my brothers. I love my forever family, right? But they don't look like me. There's
Right.
somebody out there that looks like me. I know it, right?
Right. Right.
I know that there's a mom out there. I know this to be the case because before I get to meet my mom, I got a chance to read my adoption papers. So I
Mm.
saw what it said. Yeah,
Mm.
I got a chance to read it. I see what it said. I seen the things, the details. I know I have siblings, right? So I know I have one sister, and we found each other on Facebook,
Social media.
social media. So I asked her when I found her, hey, do we have other? She was like, oh yeah, you got 5. Da, da, da. So we
wait, does
start
she
meeting.
know about you?
She knows about me.
Okay.
But we kind of knew each other when I got older in my teen years. We talked and then we separated. So
On
then
social media or in the streets?
just in the streets. At that time,
Okay.
it's just the streets.
Okay.
Then social media happens and I'm 26. I find my sister on social media.
Okay.
Then I ask her about my other brothers and siblings. So now I find all of my siblings and then they do like this little reunion thingy.
Mm-hmm.
And I get to meet my mom, my sisters, and like maybe 2 cousins, our uncle.
Okay.
And so yeah, but I'm 26 at this time. I'm a grown
So
man at this time.
you
So
super grown.
I'm grown. So at that point, it's like now as a foster kid, gotta be honest. This ain't the Cosbys. And it's not what I thought it was. It's not gonna, you get there, you thinking that it's gonna be like, hey, you don't really know who they are. You meeting people at 26. I'm a grown man. There's so many bad emotions. There's so many
Mm.
uneasy emotions. When I first saw my mom, I didn't know what to feel. I wrote about that as well. I'm being honest with you. It's anger, mad, sad, scared, anxiety.
Mm.
So, but yeah, I was at 26 when I
Now,
met my mom. Mhm.
did your other siblings, did she raise them or were they in the system as well?
Everybody was in the system.
Wow.
6 people, nobody made it. No one made it clean. I think they said the oldest one kind of made it. By the time the downfall of my mother came, everyone was in the system except for one. I believe that went with an aunt. But other than
Okay.
that, nobody escaped the system. I'm the only one, though, from what I'm understanding,
Mm-hmm.
that still even deal with their foster parents the way I do. Like my family, my foster family is my family. Like
Right.
I literally just got off the phone with my mom, like maybe like you said, maybe a few hours ago. Like that's my forever family. It's nothing
Because
I can.
they adopted you, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So that is your forever family. So no one else got adopted?
The other kids did not get adopted, from what I know now. Mm-mm.
Are they
I was the one that was most fortunate with
right?
the family that adopted me, and I was the youngest. So when everybody was
Uh,
going through the system, I'm basically, like you said, a baby at that time.
mm-hmm.
So I'm in the system all throughout my childhood. So I have no
So
recollection.
is it fair to say that your siblings aged out of
Yeah.
this? And
Yeah, they
how were
had
the
foster parents, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know all their stories, so I don't want to speak too much on their stories as
okay,
far as when they
okay.
got
I
to
get that.
18. Right. But from what I'm understanding, they aged out. Like
Mm.
they had foster parents, but they're not as close with their families anymore. Like not like I am with mine, as far as like seeing them, still dealing with them. Like I'm
S- I, your story. Okay, so I'm sorry. I'm just trying
It's
to wrap
okay.
my
I know
mind
it's a lot.
around. It's a lot. It's
There's a
a lot.
lot going on.
Okay, so you meet them at 26 and you don't know how to feel about your mom because you've had some dealings with her
Right. This was way
back in
back.
the day.
Way
Right.
back, right?
Right.
I don't even remember that because I'm such a kid at the time. I don't recollect that. And remember when I'm at those real quick to go back. Remember, they're still trying to set up visitations. She's not
She's
coming
not
to that.
coming.
It's empty. So now
Eh,
they terminate. I don't see her all the way into 26. So I'm angry, like, yo. And I read the paper. I was left to die. I'm
oh,
like I was left in a abandoned house. This records. That's
that's how
publicly
they
that's I almost literally died. So for me looking back um on it, I'm like, yo, I want answers. I'm angry because the
that's what I
paper I
wanted to
read.
ask you. Did you come at her like, okay, nice to
Listen,
meet you. I need some answers. What
listen, man.
happened?
There are
Because
gonna
you know I
be
want the tea. So yes, tell me the
I
truth.
gotta give you the tea. And look, with all respect to those that are closer to the situation, I'm so sorry, but I gotta tell the truth. So I get there. I'm angry, right? So I ain't gonna lie
Oh
to you.
wait, hold on. This is in person. This is not on.
This is in person,
Let me sit back.
right? So they
I'm
setting
ready.
it up. They setting it up, right? I'm like, all right, B, when we get there, we gonna get busy. Cause I'm angry. I'm like, yo, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say that. Why was I left to die? Where was you at? Why you even get on drugs in the first place? Why this? Why that? Yo, you left me to this, that. Like, I have to. My main thing was I got all these talking points. Like my self identity was messed up. My relationships ain't going well because of you, right? I'm doing a whole blame game. I get there, she could barely put a sentence together. So the person I was angry at, the person that I have all this angst about, when I get there, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. She can't even put a sentence together. She sees me, and with all respect, and this is, real, I got to be honest with you and the people at home. She doesn't really know who I am. She has no idea. They have to tell her that, like, yo, this is Brian. So imagine me looking at somebody who doesn't
Wow.
recognize me, who doesn't know me, because we don't recognize each other. They don't know who I am. And they're like, yo, hug her. What am I supposed to do to
What do
somebody that
you?
I don't know? And I got so much to say. And the person that I want to say this to
Can't even
can't
say
give me
it.
a good argument. I wanted a good argument, people.
And she couldn't give it to you.
Couldn't give it to me. Still to this day, I can't. None of my, and I'm not the only one. All of the siblings cannot get an answer, explanation, or any record of why. And I had to ride in that car home that night crying to myself, boo-hooing, that all the anger, all the person that I wanted to give my anger to, can't give it to. And all I heard God was saying, like, now you understood. Now you understand. You're angry at someone who can't even give you an argument or help you or explain to you what happened.
I am speechless. I'm
I was
speechless.
done.
I
I
know
was
because
done.
I'm done right now. So I can imagine
You can imagine.
how you
I was
felt in
like,
that moment. I
there was
am
nothing I could do. There's nothing. And
nothing.
then they want me to sit there, and I get to see her again. They want me to sit there,
For what?
and I'm just in awe because I can never get the
Let me tell
answers.
you, and the only thing I can equate this to, it's one thing to meet, because for me at this point, I've met my birth mother and father.
Okay.
And I will say this, like, you just have this thing envision, this thing you make up in your head
Of what it's gonna be like.
of what it's going to be like,
Mhm.
what they're going to be like. And for both of them, they were none of that. So, but I wasn't angry. So I wasn't going there to be like how you were.
Right.
It was just, I had this thing that I had fantasized. So to not only have fantasized, but then to have all this, like, I hear like, I'm going to knock you out, LL Cool J in my head, right?
Yeah.
That kind of energy.
No, I got the rap music on in the car. I'm ready.
I'm aging myself, right?
Right.
And then to get there and be like, oh, I can't do none of that.
Because it's gonna make me look crazy at that point. Like
Right.
she looks like the vulnerable victim. Like I'm just like, oh my goodness, like I can't get this off. Like I'm being honest. I'm like, yo, I cannot. I was distraught. Ain't even a word. Still to
So
this day, I'm like,
that's not, and you went right where I was going. You're carrying it still.
oh yeah, it never
So
goes away.
how do you, and is your poetry a way to, that's a release?
Well, listen. Unlike, I will say this, I'm not going to be disrespectful to others, but I have to keep it real.
Keep it a buck.
I'm a lot better than
A
my
lot of
counterpart
people.
because I was telling my girlfriend this too. Like I don't live my life through the past that way anymore. Like I'm grateful. Like God is telling me, listen, do you see what? Do you want to go back? No, God, you know what? I met them. I love them. Yo, thank you so much. I'm glad I met you guys. But I gotta go. I understand. I tell a lot of adoptees this. More than likely, you were adopted for a reason.
For sure. Mm-hmm.
It ain't even. You could talk to them. No one wants to say it out loud, but let's not be honest. If it was that good, you would probably still be there. It wasn't. I'm so grateful my story went this way,
I have the
and I'm
same
happy every
testimony.
day. So when I wake up, yo, but your mom and yo, listen, I don't
It's
know what they're doing right now. God
right
bless them, but we're having a good time. We got
over
a good
here.
life. And we're gonna smile, and because my mom is real big on this, why I sit in the conference. We're not a victim.
Mm.
You don't live your life as a victim.
And it's a decision. It's a decision to be
It's a
happy.
decision. God
It's
has
a
blessed you.
decision.
Remember where you would. And my mom will tell me straight up. Remember where you could be at if it didn't go that way. See, a lot of people want to talk about, oh, I wish I had my mom. I wish. No, no, no.
Do you?
Do you really?
Do you? Because
You don't
you
want
know what? And
God. You don't want
sometimes,
God to give you a play out real fast. Like this would have
yeah,
happened if
see,
you would have.
right. And for those of us that know, because at this point, I know what it would have been had my birth mom kept me.
My God. No thanks.
No, thank you.
No thank you.
I'm
I'm
good.
bless them, but
I
yeah.
appreciate it. Thank you. Now, I always look at it like this too. I went back when it was time for me to go back.
Right.
As a full grown adult, as a well established human being, someone that could handle whatever I found out. Because when you go do that, you don't know what's waiting for you on the other side.
Correct.
And in my case, both cases, it was a good outcome. But I understand what it could have been. So it's a decision to be like, you know what? Thank you, God. And I'm going to be happy right here. Because happiness is a decision,
Absolutely.
period.
That's it. And
That's
that's how I
it.
live it. And I look, I I love my adoptees friends. I love the communities. I tell them all the time though, but if you want me to be around in these groups and community, I live my life very happy. So if it's gonna be one of the sad, I can't.
We're
That's
not
not where
doing
I'm
it.
at.
We're not doing it.
I'm yeah,
I
yeah.
want, yeah,
I'm
everybody,
past that. I'm not saying that I'm super healed, but as far as like you said, that happiness that I choose to live on, I take it
decision.
very serious. Don't even call
Right.
my phone before 12 o'clock with negativity. No.
It's a decision. And your energy, and we're virtual, your
Mm-hmm.
energy is through the roof.
Thank you.
Like, you are so grateful.
Mm-hmm.
And I can feel it just like this.
Mm-hmm.
And so I know you have an amazing adoptive family who you love.
Mm-hmm.
And tell me, in this moment, ambition is what?
I'm just. It's
After
what?
everything you've been through.
I'm still. I will say disbelief. Disbelief. In a way,
Explain.
I can't. But I will say this. I say disbelief because I cannot believe it that I don't think people understand like if they put my life, if you put it on a piece of paper
Mm-hmm.
and you tell somebody what you think this person is going to become, they will tell you, "Oh, it's not looking well."
Yeah.
Every day I can't believe I can't believe it that I'm here this way, this happy, loving life. Look, it's problems. I'm not gonna be like, oh my joint. It's problems, but compared to where I come from,
Talk about it.
I cannot believe it. I
Mm.
tell like Mano said, I look in the sky. He says, I look into the sky, and I tell God, I can't believe it. Mano is so right. Like you just don't even know. Like so, I
Right.
live my life through a disbelief vision. Like I'm so grateful and happy. You guys can't even explain to me. Even if, like you said, like I was talking to my nephew, right? He was talking about money. talking about issues, and I said, it don't even matter because to me, the amount of money I'm making now or whatever I'm at, I'm so grateful to be here that we can complain. We can complain. I'm eating different restaurants and vacations in Miami and driving this car and just having fun.
Right.
When I was 8 and 10, there's a whole different viewpoint.
Trash bag from
Disbelief,
house to house.
house to house, everything.
Look at you
If you saw
now.
like the way you look, like you said, you looking at me, people couldn't even tell. Like, and
Mm-mm.
the way when I meet some of my family members, I meet some people that went through the same things and similar stories. My view of how I carry it and the way they carry it is totally different. And so I always have to just keep thanking God that I have the mindset that I have. I'm so grateful
For
for it. So yeah.
sure. So in closing, give a word to the foster kids that might hear this. What would you say to them?
I would say this because I'm going in this direction as I get older. In the Bible, right? There's this guy named Gideon. I love this story. This angel comes to Gideon and says, "What, babe? Why are you looking like that?" My girlfriend look at me. Um, angel comes to Gideon, almighty man of valor. Gideon is looking like, who you talking about? Because if you talking to me, I ain't strong. I'm the weakest in my clan. I'm the weakest. I'm the smallest. I don't know what you're talking about. You must be talking about somebody else. And I love this Bible story because this man, the angel came to him, told him what he was going to do, and the man was in disbelief because he didn't know his true power. An angel had to come to him and tell him. And so if I was a foster kid today, I'm here to tell you, as that little angel, you have no idea how much power you have inside of you. And you are going to do great things and live a great life if you choose to listen to what I'm saying. There is no way, and this goes for the entire community, that you would be adopted or in foster care or aged out and not be created to do something big and great and powerful. Why would you go through that just to sit on the log saying, "Oh, I'm so sad"? No, 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 no. Your story made you powerful. They talk about the diamond, how you need to go through the crushing, how you need to go through that heat. Anything that needs to be great has to go through some type of struggle. So as far as I'm concerned, they're adoptees. We didn't go through something. No, 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 no. We were put through something to make us who we're going to become. They tell me all the time I was abandoned. I told my mom the other day, no, you got it confused. I was waiting for somebody to pick me up. I ain't adopted. I was waiting for somebody to choose me. We got the game messed up. And so when you start looking at your life like that, everything they say that's negative, you got to change it around. Because there's always two ways we could look at things. I was created to be right here, right now, talking to you about this exact story at this time.
At this time, for such a
And
time as this.
you went through, and you made this platform. So at this moment, we would be here. This ain't by accident.
It's not.
So I tell
I'm learning
adoptees and
that.
the people all the time, nothing's by accident. But like you said, it is a decision on how you gonna live it.
Decision.
And I got to live fun, fly, and free.
All that. All that. Listen, we can end right there because oh my
Absolutely.
gosh. Listen, I want to thank you so much for coming to be a guest. Thank you
Thank you
so
for having me on.
much.
I seen my man
Absolutely.
Lost Child, and yes, we adopt all the amazing people
Yes.
you had on. I said, oh, I got to reach
You
out
got to
and get
I'm
on
so
there.
glad you did. I'm so glad you did. So until next week, bye family.
Journey, journey, on, journey, journey, on. You need a pie, what they good? Oh yeah, what is the one? Adoption.